I have gone ahead now and nipped off all of the life rafts. There's actually only 3 different kinds. There's a bunch that look like this, and these ones here don't have pins on the bottom. Should be able to keep them straight. And there's only one like this right here. So yeah, I shouldn't have too much trouble keeping them straight as the build goes along. And as the viewer suggested, I'm going to just paint them all with the deck tan in the center, and then later I can do the well, I'll be doing them all, I guess, the dark gray around the outside, and then they'll be ready to go. I just got to get the flashing off of these now. And there's a few more plastic pieces I got to get here. A21 and 22 and 34 and 35. And then there's 4 of these little, I guess they must be davits. I'm assuming that's what they are. Now, these sort of things I am not going to be sticking on right now. I'm going to put them away somewhere, and they'll be like one of the last things that goes on. Probably after the railing is on even. I was nipping off the flashing off of this larger of the life rafts. In fact, it's the only one of this size. And I was noticing all around the edge where the molds seem to have come together, and there's a little bit of flashing around the perimeter. And I actually did sand a little bit in some places, but then I was realizing that I think that is also supposed to represent a rope that runs all the way around the outside, something that would give somebody in the water a chance, something to grab onto, to help get themselves into the life raft. At least I think that's what that was all about. Makes sense to me anyway. Now, this is the 17th life raft that I've done, and it's the last nip, you might say. And I was finding that if I get my cutters just right, that I can nip this off, and then there is so little burrs to get off there that I can just sort of almost smear it over with my fingernail, and I don't have to do any kind of sanding at all. Now you remember these things that I made up, and that is, you remember the blocks. I drilled a hole all the way through, and I've got my normal tape covering the hole, and then I've got a piece of double-sided tape stuck on the normal tape, which I haven't taken the the plastic off of it, so it's not sticky yet. Okay, now what I do is I'll take a toothpick. Where's my toothpick? Okay, what I do is I take my toothpick and I poke it right in the dead center where the hole is, and that way when it's sitting on the rotator, the part will always be centered. It doesn't wobble, in other words. Now, the easiest way to find the center of the hole is to hold it up to the light. Now, of course, you can't see that hole, but I can. Now, if you'll remember, I was saying that I was kind of worried about the fact that there's 2 different kinds. There's a number 33 and there's the 34. And I was thinking, if I take them out of their tins, am I going to be able to tell them apart later? Well, the 34s, they have no pins on the bottom, like this. These are the 34s. No, wait a minute. These are the 33s. These ones do have pins, so they got to be the 33. I'm getting them mixed up already. We are almost ready to spray. Now, something like this, I have found, does not work well on the Rotator. It's just too big. Something that was perfectly round this big might, but something like this, it is actually easier to stick it on the tape. Now, you know what? I can tell right now this is not going to be, it's not going to stick good on the tape. I'm going to have to make up something else here. What I want to do is stick it down so that the side that is going to go against the superstructure, which is this side right here, that has the pins on it, because those pins go into holes in the superstructure. So this side that I'm just touching right now, the underside, does not have to be painted. So in other words, what I do is I'd stick it down like this on something. Then you would spray it. Come on, it's so hard to get it to stick just right. It wants to lay on its side. Anyway, you would spray this way, turn it 180 degrees, and then spray the other side. And that's the way I find that something like this sprays really good. It's just too big. Now, if it was only a, something short like this, it works okay, especially when it's kind of rounded on the edges. And well, anyway, I'm pretty sure you can figure out how this works. Anyway, I got to come up with another idea of holding these down, because those pegs that are on the bottom, which I'm sure at the magnification you're at you can hardly see them, they don't want to stick very good on the tape. I'll think of something. Guess I don't need very much. Might be better if I put them out to the side here a little bit. Spray in this way and then spray in this way. No, they're going to be going crossways, so I'll be spraying this way. You have no idea what I'm talking about, do you? Now, I've never done this before. Not like I haven't done a dry run, so we're just winging it. I want a refund. That toothpick's crooked. Okay, now here's the plan. Okay, if this is the underside, I want it down, right? I guess I can always roll them a little bit if I have to afterwards. Now, I would think that should stay there. I don't think the airbrush will blow it off. I'll move in a little bit so you can see what I'm doing here. Okay, and like I say, I can always adjust these slightly afterwards. I just don't want to have them so close together that the spray can't get from the one to the other, but I think I got them spaced far enough apart. Yeah, I think that's going to be good. Just have to make sure that the pins are straight now. I think that's okay. I have fine-tuned each one of our little poles here. Looks good to me. Now, a moment ago, I was actually headed down towards the workshop to plug in the air hose for the airbrush so we could spray our deck tan on the inside of our life rafts and also on these poles that we've got here so that they look like wood. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, we got more stuff that we have to nip off yet. And yeah, we got the A21 and 22, which is these two long pieces right here. And then we've got the 34 and 35, which is these two pieces right here. I don't know why they have different numbers, because to me they look like the same thing. They're mirror image to each other, but they're mirror image in such a way that it wouldn't matter which one went on which side. At least that's what it looks like right now. We'll look at them closely later. Okay, now there's another thing. Where are they? I lost them already. Here we go. These little things. What are we going to do about those? Are we going to paint them? Or are we just going to leave them bare and just stick them down on the deck? They're already more or less the right color to contrast against the deck, and yet on the other hand it might be kind of fun to see if I can stick them down onto the double-sided tape with the right side up. Yeah, and then there's the photo etch. You will remember hearing me say that it probably would be better to nip as close as possible to the little part, and that way I wouldn't have to do as much sanding or trimming. But I was thinking of only with these rings, not with these parts here, A21 and A22. These ones here I will trim later. Whoops. I might be gluing them back together later if I break them off. Now, what part of this do I need? Do I need this little piece on the end? No, I don't think so. I saw where it went, don't worry. Okay. Now for our davits, G16, I'm calling them davits. They might be some sort of lifting. Well, yeah, they're kind of a davit. Anyway, here we go. You can see there's also a G15, but we want 4 G16s. There's only one on each sprue here, and oh, this one here's, I'll get that later. Okay, now you notice on this davit there appears to be a little round thing like a pulley. I don't want to nip that off. I almost did. There we go. Okay, if I can do that 3 more times. Okay, it's a good thing I can cut out unwanted video here because I was not prepared. Okay, here we go again. There. And here. for a minute there. I thought I bent that, but it's okay. Okay, and the last one. These sprues are kind of like metal coat hangers. If you have them together, they don't want to come apart. Very gently here. Yeah, it survived. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. When I had the A sprue out, I should have nipped off A34 and A35. Okay, 34, 35. Now, as I was saying, these look the same to me. I can't see any difference. I've looked again, even after I talked about it the first time, and I'm convinced they're the same. No, I could be wrong. Just for the fun of it, let's stick the macro lens on and look at them. Maybe there's something different on the other side. You know what? I'm going to trim them off and we'll take a close look. Got to trim them up anyway. Okay, these 4 larger pieces I've done. About as done as I can get them. Well, no, that's not true. I'm noticing a little bit of flashing right there on this one. Well, we'll look at that later. Mind you, even after I've done my best, those of you who are rivet counters that put rivets on your 1200 to 1 scale model ships, mind you, I don't think that's possible because the rivet would have to be like 1/1000th of an inch in diameter. Well, I guess it's possible with a microscope, but I don't think there's too many people that are watching me that do that. Now, I do have to get the flashing off of the end here, and the little tiny one, I'll put the macro lens on, a little tiny bit right there, up at the ends where that round pulley type thing is. You can see it pretty good on this one, and this one. I'm not going to try and sand where I removed the flashing off of right here where the sprue connected. There was a connection right there, and there was another one up here at the top, and on the top you can see where they were. I'm not going to try and sand that off because like I was saying, I believe that's how I broke the jack stand a couple of months ago when we were fooling around. Okay, let's get the macro lens on, see if we can get this tiny little bit of flashing off. Now, it might be a little bit hard to see, but right there I'm just touching a little piece of, I don't know what that is, in the cloth here. And that's going to be my reference point. And I know that if I can keep the part that I'm working on close to that, it should be in focus for you. Now, you notice this round part here on the end of the davit. Well, it's got a piece of flashing right there. And I think if I'm real careful, there. All right. Now, right here, there's another round piece. Is that, I believe that is supposed to be there because it's on the other 3 in exactly the same place. Now, let's get the end here. Okay. Now you can see where there's supposed to be a little peg or something that goes into the deck. We don't want to nip that off. Okay. Now, let me turn this around so you can see it better, maybe. Okay, right there, this flashing, that's the kind of thing that I'm afraid to try and sand off. because I'll probably end up breaking this. Well, we'll see what happens. Maybe I'll give it a whirl later. Now this one here, the piece of flashing is much smaller. Okay, try and get myself comfy here. Have I got it at an angle for you? Best angle? Maybe I should turn it a little bit more like this. Okay, there. Now maybe you can see the blade going in there a little better. There, got it. Okay. All right. Now, two more. Sorry, I'm getting my hands in your way there. If I use my tweezers, I can turn it around better. Nope. Okay. There we go. Now I do not want to look up in my monitor and find out that the battery ran down and this thing shut off on me. Okay, we got that one. And we got that one. One more to go. That's pretty good. Now, undoubtedly, with the macro lens, you can tell it's not perfect, but once again, normal viewing distance, no one's gonna know. Okay, there, we got all four of them. It is going on for 3 o'clock here in Winnipeg already, and I've got to get this final edit done, get this uploaded to YouTube, and I guess that's about it for today. So thanks for watching, and all being well, we'll see you tomorrow.